Good morning. Namaste to each of you. Thank you for joining me this morning to honor your mind and your body and your spirit. Let's just take a moment to become present. So find a nice comfortable seated position where you can sit with your spine and back of your neck nice and long, and opening up your chest, opening up your diaphragm, and opening up your heart. Gently close your eyes and soften your thoughts. Soften your mind. No, that's soften your thoughts. Soften your eyes. Soften your shoulders. And soften your heart. Observe your breath as it is, soft and gentle, breathing life into you with each inhale and relaxation with each exhale. Feel the grace of being present, returning to that awareness again and again. You may open your eyes. For this morning's intention, you may think of a positive word or phrase to have with you on your mat and perhaps carry with you throughout the day. This morning's intention I'd like to talk about is the second Yama. Now, the Yamas are the first of the 8 legs of yoga, or 8 limbs. And the second, the Yamas have 5 guidelines. And the second guideline is truth, Satya. So Satya invites you to find the truth in your mind through integrity, understanding and speaking the truth, fact versus opinion. There's a quote that I found from Mark Twain this week. It says, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. And I thought that was quite clever. Also, you would find your truth in your body through awareness, finding your personal place between effort and relaxation. I talk about the sweet spot all the time when we're doing yoga. And just remember that awareness, everybody's body is different. So do a pose that is good for you, that's comfortable for you. This is not Simon Says, this is yoga that the poses do benefit our body, help you move with grace, but it's the whole package, the mind, the body, and the spirit is yoga. And lastly, finding your truth through your spirit, and that would be authenticity. Being true to yourself. When you're authentic, it's empowering. When you're inauthentic, not being true to yourself, it's draining. And there's a quote by Sara Ban Breathnack, that's her last name, Ban Breathnack, is the authentic self is soul made visible. I'm going to back up just for a second because I did have a quote for the body, and it's a quote from Aristotle. And his quote is, knowing yourself is the beginning of all wisdom. So know, in your body what you are able to do and what is good for your body. So on to our pranayama, our breathing technique. One very simple way of observing truth in our practice is by paying attention to our breath. If the breath is strained or shallow, it's likely that the body isn't happy with what it's doing. Again, I refer often to that sweet spot. So there is a breathing technique that is really designed for our practice. It's the Ujjai breath. It's also called the ocean breath because of the sound it makes. And that sound is what you can tune into. I call it the soundtrack of your practice, because you can tune into that sound, and it amplifies literally whether you're breathing shallow or strained or a nice even flow. So the Ujjayi breath is something that's kind of sounds like Darth Vader. In teaching it, people start off by blowing or breathing into their hand like they're trying to fog up a mirror. So it's like, but with the Ujjayi breath and any breathing techniques, typically with your mouth closed and you're breathing through your nostrils. So it's that same sound that emanates from the back of your throat when you're going, but it's with your mouth closed. So, and then on the inhale, it's like Darth Vader to me. It's inhale, and you're hearing that sound. And that sound to me sounds to me like the ocean. In fact, this morning I woke up at, I don't know, it was way too early, 3 o'clock. And my husband was already asleep, so I wasn't going to interfere with him. But I started to do the Ujjayi breath, that white sound that people do sometimes in their bedroom to block out all the noise and other thoughts. It created that white sound of the ocean, and slowly but surely, I went right back to sleep. So we'll practice the Ujjayi breath when we start our practice. And the last thing I'd like to do before we hit the mat, or I hit the mat, is just do a quick meditation. And the mudra, and the mudras, I haven't mentioned this in a while, but mudras connect with the meridians in your fingertips. And if you think of acupuncture, and acupuncturists work with meridians all through your body, there's meridians in the tips of your fingers. So when you're doing a mudra, you're actually using that pressure point of the meridians in your fingers to create a certain effect. So today's mudra is Tattva. It's Tattva, Tattva. And Tattva reminds us of the truth and reality of ourselves, and that our true nature is unchanging, pure, and whole. So to do Tattva, you would put the base of your thumb, or your thumb right on the base of your ring finger, rather. So it's almost like the Girl Scouts. But you put your thumb on the base of your ring finger. And so you can use that with the palms up, facing to the sky. Just gently put those on your knees and close your eyes and take just a brief moment to meditate. And I will meet you on the mat. You may open your eyes now, and we'll begin our practice. If you're seated on a cushion, you can stay there for a few of our poses. First one being the seated sun breath, and we're going to use that Ujjai breath. Really tune into that sound. It also helps you to be aware of whether your breath is nice and full, emanating from the tummy up through the ribs, up to the chest, and then back, exhaling all the way through from your chest to your ribs to your stomach. It synchronizes with your body and helps fine tune where you might need to maybe be a little bit more full or long in your breath, as opposed to short up in your chest area. So let's start with our fingertips alongside of us, and then inhale deeply using that Ujjayi breath. Bringing your hands up overhead, bringing the palms together. And go as slowly as you want and really focus on that sound and that breath that you're using. So exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And I'm not going to even talk anymore. I'm just going to let you do it for a few minutes to really hone in on that breath. And take one last one and bring your fingertips down to the mat. We'll meet there. There is no, I just want to mention, there is no right or wrong inhale, exhale. I was noticing that I was inhaling this way, and then when I went silent, I actually flipped it. So, there's a phrase that's come up a lot this week for some reason. It's like, you do you. So if that works better for you, feels more comfortable, that's the whole idea. If the exhales on the top and the inhales coming down, I'm just kind of giving you a guideline, and again, you do you. So let's take that and make some twists out of it. So we're going to bring our fingertips to the side, bring our arms up overhead, and then twist over to the left side, bringing your hands down. Right hand lands on your left knee, left hand lands behind your hips. Then inhale or exhale. This one I think works well with the inhale. Bring your hands up, twist over to the right, bring your hands down, left hand landing on the right knee, right hand landing on your hips. Inhale up. And just keep flowing, exhale down. Again, really listening to your breath on this. And I'm going to leave you to do this for a few moments. And let's do one last one and meet back in the middle. And we're going to come to tabletop. So come up on your hands and knees. Tabletop, your wrists right below your shoulders. Fingers are spread out. Try to have your fingers kind of pushing down, but also gripping the mat while they're pushing down. Index fingers pointing to the top of the mat. Knees are right below your hips. And navel's tucked to your spine, creating a nice flat back. We're going to extend our right leg to the bottom of the mat. Again, check in, make sure that your weight is distributed evenly in your both hands, and pushing down in your hands, that helps to even out that distribution. And then bring your right foot over to the left, bringing it outside of the edge of the mat, and then gently turn your head to the left and back to look at your right foot. Taking a couple deep breaths here. And then bring that right leg back underneath your hips and send your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Check in with your hands. They're pushing down, weights evenly distributed, and then bring that left foot out beyond the edge of the mat and gently turn your head to the right to look at your left foot. Check in with your breath. Does it sound a little shallow, a little shaky maybe? Bring your foot back a little ways, see if you can even it out. And then bring that left knee back underneath your hip. We'll do that one more time on each leg. So extend your right leg out, crossing over your left, bringing the right foot outside the edge of the mat. And then slowly, gently turn your head to look at the right foot. And then bring that leg back and do that with the left. Extend the left leg out to the bottom of the mat. Check in with your hands, even weight distribution, and then bring that left foot outside of the mat. Turning your head to the right to look at your left foot. And then bring that leg back. And our knees are right below our hips again. Back to tabletop. We'll do a few cat and cows here. Rounding our back, dropping our tailbone and head down for cat. Then inhale, or again, this might be something that you flip and have the exhale on the cow. See what is most comfortable for your body. And then back to cat, rounding the back, dropping the head and pelvis down. And then lifting our head up, staring straight ahead, tilting our pelvis up. Nice exaggerated moves with our breath. I'll just leave you for a few moments to really synchronize your breath with your movement. Go slow or fast. Listening for that Darth Vader ocean sound. And then come back to a neutral spine. We're going to kickstand our left foot outside the mat. Extend our right foot down to the bottom of the mat. Have our left wrist in line with our left shoulder. We're going to sweep our right hand up to the sky. This is modified plank pose. And then we're going to lift our hand up and bring it over to our right thigh and sweep our left hand up toward the sky to gate pose. Bring your left hand back down, place it below your left shoulder. Bring your right hand back up to the sky and then sweep it down to the mat. We'll do that 2 more times. Sweeping our right hand up to the sky, modified plank pose. Then have an invisible helper help lift you up, bringing your right hand to your right thigh. Left hand slowly sweeps up to the sky for gate pose. And then back, left hand comes down to the mat, left wrist right below the left shoulder. Right hand goes up to the sky and then comes back down to the mat. And one last time, sweeping that right hand up to the sky, lifting your hand up, bring it to your right thigh, sweeping the left hand up toward the sky for gate pose. And then left hand comes back down, right hand up to the sky, and then bring your right hand back down. And we'll do that on the other side. So come back to tabletop. Kickstand your right foot out beyond the mat. Extend your left foot down to the bottom of the mat. Right wrist is right below the right shoulder. And you sweep your left hand up to the sky. And then pull yourself up, bringing your left hand to the left thigh, sweeping your right hand up to the sky for gate pose. And then bring it back down. Nice fluid movement. Right wrist right below the right shoulder. And sweep your left hand back up to the sky and then sweep it down to the mat. 2 more times. Sweeping the left hand up to the sky. Pulling it up. Bringing your left hand to the left thigh. Sweeping your right hand up to the sky. And then bringing your right hand back down. Left arm goes up to the sky. And then bringing it back down to the mat. 1 more time, sweep it up. Left hand goes to the sky. Left hand comes up and over to the left thigh. Right arm goes up to the sky. And then back down to the mat. Left hand goes up to the sky. And then you sweep your left hand back down to the mat. Coming back to tabletop, we're going to tuck our toes under, walk our hands back till we come into a squat position, and then push down into our feet, coming up to mountain pose. We'll go through the mountain pose, also the essentials of good posture. So toes are facing the straight edge of the mat. Lift your toes up off the mat and spread them apart as far as you can. And then bringing them back down to the mat, lift your heels up off the mat. And then bring your heels back down. Really feel connected to the earth. Our legs are nice and straight and strong. There's a gentle bend always in our knees. Navel's tucked to the spine, activating our core. Shoulders are relaxed and rolled back, bringing that spine and back of the neck straight and nice and long. Chin is tucked slightly toward our chest, flattening out the crown of our head, which reaches to the sky. We're going to sweep our hands up with a big inhale and exhale, bending our knees. We're going to bring our hands down to the earth, having them land, and just check in for a moment, see how you're feeling. Find the truth in your body today. Feel a little tension, send some nourishing breaths to that tension. And maybe the truth is that that tension just won't relax. So you're just gonna have to find a way of modifying what you're doing today, and without judgment. You know, this is who you are. This is your truth today. And there's no judgment to be made. It's all good. Inhale, bring your hands to your shins, flattening out your back. Nice straight spine, back of your neck. Gaze sending down. And then dropping the crown of your head down toward the ground. And just let gravity take over here for a moment. And then inhale, sweeping your hands all the way up, bringing them overhead. And as we do, we're going to lift up onto our toes and stretch, reaching for the sky. And then exhale, bringing our hands down and our heels down to the mat. And another big breath, our inhale, breath intake, bringing our hands up, lifting up onto our toes, and then again, stretching, reaching for the sky. See how tall you can get, and then come down, landing on your heels, bringing your hands down. And one last time, we'll sweep our hands up, coming up onto our tippy toes, stretching up. And then exhale, bringing our hands down and lowering our heels to the mat. We'll keep lowering our hands down to the floor, bending our knees on the way. Inhale, halfway up, flattening out our back, sending that gaze down. Then exhale, dropping our head down toward the ground. And inhale, sweeping our hands up again, all the way up overhead. Palms come together. And for supported side stretch, we're going to bring our right hand to our right thigh and slide it down toward our right knee. And then inhale, come back up, bring our hands back together overhead. Drop our left hand down to our left thigh, slide that down to the left knee. And then bring that back up. And we'll do that again on each side. Right hand comes down, slide it down to the right thigh. Inhale, come back up. And left hand comes down, slide it to the left knee. And inhale, come back up. Or sweep our hands back down to the ground, bending our knees as we go. Inhale, half forward fold, bringing our hands to our shins, flattening out our back and back of our neck. And then dropping our head down toward the mat. And inhale, sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together. Palms come to heart center. And we're going to do a forward fold and half forward fold with a yoga lock, which I'm not sure if we've ever done from a standing mountain pose. But bring your arms around the back of your hips, interlace your fingers behind you. And we're just going to pivot from our waist forward. So we're doing like a half forward fold. Our hands are on the backs of our hips, and then lift our hands up and just extend them away from you. So we're halfway there. And then if you'd like, you can drop your head down toward the floor, down toward the mat, and extend your arms all the way up toward the sky. So your interlaced fingers are reaching for the sky. And that's forward fold with a yoga lock. And then bring your hands back to your hips. Pivot again from your waist, back up. We'll take one big inhale. Bring our hands up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And we'll do that one more time. So interlace your fingers behind your hips. And with a straight legs, but with a gentle bend, as always, in our knees, we're going to pivot from the waist. So we're doing the half forward fold and extending our hands out behind us. And again, you could stay here, or you could drop your head down toward the ground and send your fingers, your interlaced fingers, up toward the sky. Remember your breath. And then bring your hands back to your hips and then pivot back up straight. And we'll take one more breath. Inhale up, hands come together, hands come to heart center. And then hands come to the back of our hips. Our feet are about hip width apart. We're going to relax our shoulders, tuck our chin to our chest, and just drop our shoulders back for supported back bend. Listen to your Ujjai breath here, see how it is. And then come back up. How's everyone doing? Okay, so we're going to sweep our hands up overhead, big inhale. Exhale, bring our hands to the mat with a forward fold, bending our knees as we go. Then extend your right foot to the back of the mat, coming into runner's lunge. And then we're going to bring our right knee down to the mat, right top of our foot down to the mat. So we're in low lunge. And we're going to do a half monkeys, but we're going to do, there's a couple ways that we've been doing it, but this one we're going to just keep our chest and our thigh connected and just ride our thigh down as we straighten out our front leg. Just keep that chest or rib cage somewhat connected to our thigh. So we're bringing our head down toward our knee. And then bring that knee back up to the low lunge position. And bring your left knee forward slightly, as long as it doesn't go beyond your big toe. And send your gaze out straight ahead. So you're just kind of stretching out another part of your hips. And then we're going to come back to low lunge. We're going to straighten out our front leg, riding it down so that we have our head toward our knee. And then bring that knee back up to the low lunge position. And bring it forward slightly, giving it a nice stretch, sending our gaze out straight ahead. And then one last time, straighten out that front knee, keeping that chest thigh connection, bringing our head down toward our knee. And then bringing it back up to low lunge. And slightly ahead, sending our gaze up and out. And we're going to tuck our back toes under, come back up to runner's lunge, and we're going to bring our hands to the right side and walk our hands so that they come to the center of the mat. You're going to be in a wide-legged stance. Toes are pointed in slightly, a little pigeon-toed, heels slightly outward. And we're just going to relax here for a moment. Your wrists are right below your shoulders, but see if you can bend your shoulders, bringing your head down toward the floor slightly. And walk your hands over to your right foot. Bringing your head down toward your knee. Saying hello to your knee, and then walk your hands over to your left foot, bringing your head down toward your knee. And then keep walking your fingers, pivoting your feet, coming back into runner's lunge. We're going to pivot our back foot down. And I'm going to suggest that you bring it to the right, a little bit closer to the right side, your toes to the right side of the mat. So you're moving your toes closer to the edge of the mat. So your feet are not right one behind the other. And then we'll come up into warrior one. Front knee is bent, arms go up, and you're nice and snug into the edge of your back foot. You're pushing your feet down and out to the front and the back of the mat, really connecting yourself to the earth. So this is warrior one, and then we're going to bring our hands behind our hips, interlacing our fingers. We're going to do a modified humble warrior, and if you're comfortable, you can go into the full humble warrior. So modified would be half forward fold like we did earlier. Pay attention to your back knee, make sure that's comfortable. So you're halfway, arms are extended out. And if that's good, you can stay there, or if you want, you can drop your head down toward the mat, bringing your left shoulder to your left inner knee and sending your hands up to the sky for full humble warrior. And then we're going to bring ourselves back up to an upright position, release our hands, and come into warrior two. So extending our arms out at shoulder height. Our front leg is still bent over, or knees bent and over our ankle. Back foot is still nice and snug in the mat. And then gently turn your head to look at your left fingertips. And then lower your right hand down to your right thigh, lifting your left fingertips up to the sky, following them with your gaze for peaceful warrior. And then bringing your hand back down to warrior two. Again, extending both arms out from your shoulders. And then bringing your forearm down to your left thigh and sweeping your right hand up to the sky. And you can send your gaze up to your right hand if you'd like. And then bring your right hand all the way down to the mat, pivoting on your back foot, coming into runner's lunge. And then bring your left foot to meet your right foot into plank pose. Wrists are right below your shoulders, navel's tucked to the spine, elevating your hips. Heels are pushing back. And then slowly lowering either knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. Having your fingertips below your shoulders, we'll gently lift our chin and our chest up, then pushing down into our fingertips, come into cobra. And then up to tabletop, and lowering our hips down to our ankles for child's pose. Inhale, come back up to tabletop. We'll tuck our toes under, send our hips up to the sky for downward dog, and pedal out here for a moment. Our fingers are splayed nice and wide, index finger pointing to the top of the mat. Arms are straight and strong. Chest is reaching toward your thighs, elevating your hip. Knees are bent, or if they're pedaling out, keep them bent, don't fully extend them. And then slowly walk our feet up to our hands, coming into forward fold. And then sweeping our hands all the way up overhead. Palms come together, palms come to heart center. And we'll do that on the other side. I'm not going to just turn around to do it on the other side. So sweeping our hands up, overhead, sweep them down, bring them down to the mat, bending our knees. We're going to extend our left leg back. Bring our left knee down to the mat, left top of our foot down to the mat. And then we're going to straighten out our right leg, keeping our chest, rib bones connected to the thigh, bringing our head down toward the knee. And then bringing the knee back up to the lunge position and extending it a little further ahead, but not to exceed the big toe. And then sending our gaze out and up. Give our hips a nice additional stretch. And then again, we're going to straighten out the right leg, riding it down so our head and knee meet. And then bringing our knee back into the lunge position, slightly forward, lifting our chest, sending our gaze out. And one last time. Straightening out the right leg, riding it down. And then inhaling, coming back up. Sending our knee toward our toes, but not exceeding them. Lifting our chest and our gaze up and out. And then come back to low lunge, tuck our toes, back toes under, coming back up to runner's lunge. And then we're going to walk our hands to the left to come to the middle of the mat. We're going to bring our toes in, somewhat pigeon toe, heels out. Wrists are below our shoulders. And just bend our elbows slightly, dropping our head down toward the mat. And slowly walk our hands over to our left leg. Our head to our knee. Mine's not even close. I can say hi to it, but that's about as close as it's going to get. And then walking back to center. And walking our hands to the right foot. Sending our head toward our knee. And then continue walking our hands to the front, pivoting our feet, coming back into runner's lunge. We're going to move our back foot out to the left a little bit so that the toes are closer to the edge of the mat. And then pivot our foot down and push down in our front foot, coming up into warrior one. Bring our arms up to the sky. With any of the warrior lunge positions, our knees over our ankle, you should be able to peek around your knee and see your big toe. And then we'll bring our hands behind our hips, interlace our fingers. And you can choose either the half forward fold version, so you pivot from your waist and sending out your hands behind you, really leaning into your leg, your right leg, or full humble warrior, bringing your right shoulder down to your inner right knee and sending the hands up to the sky. Your gaze is at your back foot. And then lift back up. Release your hands and come into warrior two. So extend your arms out at shoulder height. Make any adjustments you need. Feel like you have a good warrior two alignment. And that big toe peeking out from behind your knee. Navel's tucked into the spine. Your chest is open to the long side of the mat. Your gaze is gently turned to your right fingertips. And then lowering your left hand down to your left thigh, lifting your right hand up for peaceful warrior. And then bringing the hands back to warrior two, keeping that gaze on your right fingertips. Then bring your right forearm down to your right thigh, sweeping your left hand up to the sky, perhaps setting your gaze up there as well. And then bring your left hand down to the mat, pivoting on your feet to runner's lunge. And bring your right foot back to meet your left foot, coming into plank pose. Shoulders are right above the wrists, navel's tucked to the spine. And then slowly lower knees, chest, chin, or chaturanga. And gently lift with your chin and your chest, gently pushing in your fingers, coming up into cobra. Continue that push up into tabletop, then lower your hips down to your ankles, coming into child's pose. And try to do your Ujjai breath. 1, 2, just check in with your body, but also just to settle your body back into a nice, comfortable spot. Maybe lowering your heartbeat a little bit. Just relaxing down, kind of cooling down. And your Ujjai breath will help you do that. And tuck your toes. Oops, come back up to tabletop and tuck your toes under and lift your hips up to downward dog. And we'll pedal out here for a moment or two. And then you continue your Ujjayi breath. And then lower your knees down to the mat. And swing your feet out to the side and come into a seated position. We're going to come into staff pose. So your legs are out in front of you, nice and straight. Toes are flexed, pointing up to the sky. You can make little fists with your hands, pushing down into the mat. Lift your hips up off the mat and lower them down. Really feel those sit bones connect with the mat. Your back is nice and straight, spine's nice and tall. Then we're going to bend our knees, bringing our hands underneath our knees, keeping that back nice and tall. We're going to lift our legs up to a half boat position. So you're going to be probably pulling on the backs of the knees toward your chest to really keep that back nice and straight and tall. We're going to work on our core for a little while. So what's important here is keeping that navel tucked to your spine. It's really activating your core that way. And we'll have these poses to help with that core strengthening. So we're going to start with tapping our right toe down, bringing it back up, tapping our left toe down, bringing back up, and then tapping both toes down and bringing it back up. Again, the right toe down, tap up, left toe down, tap up, both toes down, tap up. And if you like, you can alternate it or continue on purely without having your hands under your knees. So we'll tap our toe, right toe down, left toe down, both toes down, let go, tap our right toe down, left toe down, both toes down, and then again, holding the back of your knees, you can do the right toe down, left toe down, both toes down, let go, right toe down, left toe down, both toes down, back up. Again, right, left, both, and let go, right, left, both, hold back on, right, left, both toes down, right, let go, left, both toes down. And we'll do one last time, your choice, holding or letting go. Right toe down, left toe down, both toes down, and back. Then we'll just gently roll down. We use the express method since my hands are already in a good position for that. So roll down on your back, bring your knees to your chest, give them a nice gentle hug. And rock back and forth, maybe give your lower back a nice massage. And then bring your hands to your knees, the top of your knees, and we're going to extend them, extend our arms all the way out, pushing our knees toward the other end of the mat. And then we're going to lift our feet up so that our knees are at a 90-degree angle as if we're sitting in a chair. And just keeping your hands where they are, we're going to do kind of a scissor kick. Again, really be aware of your navel tucked to your spine, bringing your lower back down to the mat. So we're going to drop our right toes down to the mat. And you may have to let go of your hands, but keep them out toward your knee. And then bringing it back. And then we're going to extend our left foot up to pointing our toes up to the sky. And then bringing it back. So our neutral spot is always in that chair pose. So right foot down, left foot up, right foot down, left foot up, right foot down, tapping our toe, left foot up, pointing to the sky, right foot down, left foot up. And then bring it back to the neutral spot, and we'll do that on the other side. So left toe points down, taps the mat, comes back, right toe goes up to the sky, comes back. Left toe down to the mat, come back, right toe up to the sky, and come back. Left toe down, back, right toe up, and back, left toe down, back, right toe up, and back. So now we're going to do both. So we're going to extend our right toe down to the mat while at the same time we're moving our left toe and pointing it up to the sky. And then bringing them both back to that chair pose. Then we'll do it with the left toe down to the mat, right leg up to the sky, and then come back. Right toe down to the mat, left toe up to the sky, and back. Left toe down to the mat, right toe up to the sky, and back. We'll just do a few more of those. Really good for your core. And we'll meet back in the middle where our legs are in that chair pose, and then bring your knees to your chest and give them a nice gentle hug. Maybe make circles with your toes, draw nice circles to give your lower back a nice massage. And then draw in the opposite direction. Bring your arms out, shoulder height, and we'll exhale, lowering our legs to our knees to the right side of the mat for reclined twist. Send our gaze over to the left. And slowly turn your head back to center. Inhale, lift your legs back to center, and slowly drop them over to the left. Did I do the left before? I said the left or the right. Anyway, I'm on the left side, turning my head to the right. And slowly bring your head back to center. Inhale, guide your knees back to center, and then extend your feet down to the bottom of the mat and prepare for Shavasana. Letting your feet go to the corners of the mat and just relax. relaxing all the muscles in your legs, in your hips, in your shoulders, in your arms. Every exhale, just relax a little deeper. This morning's poem is by Danna Faulds, titled One Breath at a Time. Breathe with me in the rhythm of mountain streams, in the hypnotizing cadence of waves breaking on the shore. Breathe in the peace that plays just beneath the agitated surface of the mind. Find the breath that expresses your connection to the silence, to abiding forgiveness, to the shining light of spirit in your heart. Your own true breath can release you from the prison of your fears and plumb the depths of your awareness. It all starts here, the choice to breathe, relax, and feel. The choice to witness without judgment and allow the truth of life to be revealed.